Good day, everyone. My name is Moyosores Dictionary. I'm Niger lawyer in Canada, and today we're bringing to you Foreign Trained Lawyer Licensing Journey by Niger Lawyer in Canada. We all know that the licensing journey is a very stressful journey. I always advise people to try to get as much support as they can get from their peers, be around people that are motivated like you, and try to just always ask questions. Like, don't be in your shell and get things wrong. Learn from other people's mistakes. That has always worked for me, trying to learn from other people's mistakes and experiences. So, getting into it, task one is get NCA assessment. And this includes you have to determine your eligibility by using the self-assessment tool on the NCA website. The NCA website is nca.legal. You apply online and pay the fees. It's been reduced. I think when my time it was about 400 card, but now it's 350 card. Lucky you. Ensure the issuing institution sends the required documents. That is your LLB transcript and your law school transcript and the letter of good standing. So many people have made mistakes by sending the transcripts themselves. And this would ultimately get rejected, except, you can really explain why. They want the transcripts to be sent by the issuing institution. So from law school, assuming it's Nigeria, Nigerian law school should send the transcript for your BL. Your university should send the LLB transcript directly to the NCA. And you need a letter of good standing also sent by Supreme Court of Nigeria or NBA in Nigeria. That I'm using Nigeria as a point of contact. And you also have to upload your resume and your certificates. That's, your certificates for your LLB and your BL. Task two, pass the NCA exams. So once you've gotten your assessment from NCA, you know the subjects and the exams you have to write. NCA has a minimum of 5 subjects which can be satisfied by writing and passing the NCA exams or completing them at a Canadian law school. For example, some people go to Osgood Law to get a LLM in Canadian common law. That way they are killing two birds with one stone. They're getting a LLM and they are also satisfying the NCA subjects. And then they send the transcript showing that they satisfied the compulsory courses through the LLM that they did to NCA. NCA pass mark is 50%. It's an open book exam, and this is very foreign to many of us from Nigeria, especially from West Africa. It's a skill you would learn and practice. It's a self-study exam. Some people opt to get a tutor to explain to them. Someone like me, when I want one-on-one, you get some people pay tutors to teach them. Some people join Skype study groups, which we have in the ITL network, which is handled by Loretta. She has Skype study groups for many of the ITLs, and she manages it really, really well. The exams are written 4 times a year. So pre-COVID, the exams were usually written January, May, August, and October. However, we know that this pandemic has, switched things up, and we don't really know what's going to happen subsequently. It is very important to learn how to manage your time. That, for me, is one of the toughest things to manage because it's essay. You can get carried away writing so many things, including things that are not really important, and being very verbose with your answers. You need to learn how to write what is needed and manage one's time. 3 hours speeds by so fast. If a person fails, the person gets a failure report, and the exam can be rewritten twice. The failure report breaks down what you did and what you should have done. Like, it mirrors the mind of the examiner. And I find this to be very a very good way of knowing what to correct next time. Failing is not a deterrent for you. It's hard, it's painful, but always pick up yourself and move on. Learn from the mistakes. It's a learning curve. When you pass all your exams, you're going to be issued a certificate of qualification. Task 3 is Provincial Law Society requirements. So after getting the certificate of qualification, which is federal, then you now look at the province where you reside or the province you intend to get called to bar, because they differ as regards their requirements. So assuming you were in Ontario, you'll be checking the Law Society of Ontario and read all what they require to get called. And in Ontario, we write bar exams. There are 2 7-hour long exams, barristers and solicitors. And that's pre-COVID, and things may return to that. But right now, it's been reduced to 3.5 hours, if I stand corrected, and it's online just because of the COVID. And I don't know if this is temporary or permanent. So you apply for entry to Law Society by admission program in any of the Canadian common law provinces. Provincial requirements differ depending on the province you reside. The next steps after requesting NCA to send a copy of your certificate of qualification to the Law Society may vary. You complete your province's bar admission program. And task 4 is articling. Articling is an experiential training requirement in all the provinces. The aspirant is required to work with the principal. In Ontario, articling is for 10 months. There are options such as law practice program called the LPP, that is for 8 months, 4 months training, and 4 months placement. In Ontario also, you could apply for a full exemption from articling. And when you get that full exemption, you are required to do the PCPO. The requirement to get a full exemption is usually the eligibility to apply for such is that you have 10 months minimum of legal work experience in a common law country. So you would fill the application and submit and pay the fees, and you get a response as to whether you have been granted the full exemption or not. You could also apply for an abridgment if you feel like you want to reduce the months of your articling term. Some provinces have reduced the articling term temporarily due to the COVID pandemic, and we don't know if this is going to be left as it is after the pandemic or what happens next. Task 5 is CPLED/PrEP. CPLED, Canadian Centre for Professional Legal Education, provides the training needed before being called to the bars of Alberta, Manitoba, Nova Scotia, and Saskatchewan. Aspirants looking to be called to the bar in these 4 provinces must complete the recently launched program, Practice Readiness Education Program, PrEP, in addition to articling. PrEP helps aspirants gain practical legal knowledge and competencies in lawyer skills, practice management, etc. Aspirants are not required to write bar exams in these 4 provinces. Task 6, bar exams, which I touched on earlier. Some provinces require aspirants to write exams, for example, Ontario, British Columbia, New Brunswick. In Ontario, the bar exams are divided into 2 sets of 7-hour long exams. The barrister's exams, which includes professional responsibility, criminal law, family law, civil law, and public law, and solicitor's exams. Professional responsibility again, real estate, estates, and business law. There is no stated pass mark. Task 7, call to bar. Upon completion of the bar admission programs in the various provinces and satisfaction of the good character requirement, you apply for call to bar. Yay! Call fees are paid and relevant documentation is submitted. A call to bar ceremony is conducted. Though due to the pandemic, there have been administrative calls online. This marks the end of your licensing process. Voila! You can now practice as a legal practitioner in the province you're called and in Canada. Task 8. Not alternative career paths. Not everybody would like to go through this licensing process. And there are valid reasons to decide not to. It's fine to opt out of it. There are many other career paths that, as a lawyer, your skill will always be needed. Law is universal. It applies everywhere. You could work as a contract reviewer, a compliance manager, a paralegal, an immigration consultant, a mediator, family arbitrator, law clerk, legal assistant, office administrator, legal researcher, minutes taker, insurance claim officer, privacy officer, process server, customer care representative, probation officer, anti-money laundering officer, court reporter, court clerk, court registrar, court services officer, court and client representative. There are many, many more alternative career paths that I've not mentioned here. Some of them would require you to have some extra training. Some, like the immigration consultant course, requires that you do a 6 month diploma and then pass the entry to practice exam to become RCIC or RSIA. Law clerks also have some diploma courses. Though not, I have seen many people get law clerk and legal assistant jobs without getting this diploma. Just their legal experience is more than enough to help them land a job in this field. Task 9, tips and advice. Start early. Obtain your NCA assessment. Start reading before you land. Settling is a totally different ball game and it can be very distracting. So if you know that you are going to try to get licensed once you land, try to start reading before you land. Start the processes. We know how hard it is to get transcripts in some of the non-private institutions. Work on it. Ensure that they send you transcripts. Read to understand and know where to find answers. Read with the syllabus. The syllabus is so important. Print them out. Read it. As you read, tick off. You could note beside it. You can write a case beside the topic to know that will prompt you to remember certain things. Time management is key. I cannot emphasize this enough. Time management is key. You could you could decide to do a mock exam, timing yourself, and know how to manage your time. Get a support group. Don't be peer pressured. Know thyself. Some people can write one exam per sitting. Some people may write two. Some people may write three. And some people may write five at a go. Be conscious of your mental health. It is very important. Gone are the days where we think mental health does not apply to everyone. It does. Be conscious about it. Give yourself breaks. Exercise. Go for massages. Have fun times. Laugh. Do things that would help you. Be determined and never give up. Thank you very much. So this brings us to the end of the presentation. As I said earlier, my name is Moyosore Sadiq Shoneye, Niger lawyer in Canada. Follow us on Instagram, please. Drop comments, likes, and always give us feedback. We're very open to getting feedback. So just briefly about some of the features